forth, but basically not going very far, and certainly not getting enough to create the blowout trade we're looking for. But of course, we'll be ready if it shows. Again, certainly on a short-term basis, the Dow was way overbought, but still going up. And again, when there's not enough volume, when you lack liquidity, it's hard to want to get too excited to trade. And I think that is something that is important to understand as a trader, that liquidity is the key. We never want to get stuck in what they call the Roach Motel. But we'll see if anything does change here. There was a trade in crude a little bit ago, but again, you weren't here, so it doesn't really matter. I did put on a trade, just full disclosure. Okay, I always tell you what I did myself. I did this earlier. It's actually better now than when I did it. I shorted Tradier. I sold the 100, 115 call spread for Friday. And I sold that for $11.80 credit, basically meaning I have a $3.20 risk, or basically meaning that I bought the 115 put for $3.20, which is trading about $3.80. So I saved a little bit of money there. But overall, there's really just not a lot, but maybe we can get a quick spike up here and see. We'll check it out and be ready here, and then we'll go take a look at the rest of our stuff if nothing's going on, which it doesn't appear to be the case. Gold under a little pressure this morning. But once again, excuse me, nothing all that exciting. Perfect day to observe and do nothing. So we'll see here, though, if we can get some sort of activity that says it's worthwhile to trade. Unfortunately, right now, I don't see much. Again, would I be a seller up here against these conditions? I might. But again, I do not like the lack of liquidity in the overall market. So it makes it much more challenging for me to want to get overly involved, which is why we always have other systems and other things that we do. So we're going to assume that there's nothing to do here, but we'll watch it for the next minute, and then we'll look at some other things, but we'll see if anything does show up. But typically, if they don't show up early in the bar, they're probably not going to show up at all. I think that's something for you to recognize and learn about. Usually there's a little bit of a spike right away in either direction. And we don't care which side, either direction. And right now, we don't have much at all. So we'll wait for that in the next 30 seconds and just make sure. I would say there's an outside chance in the NASDAQ or the S&P. Not likely. It's very outside. Nothing in the euro currency. So once again, it looks like a big zero. So we will flip on over since we're not going to get anything here. And take a look at our usual stuff. We'll take a look at our usual stuff. And that would start with Apple. Now, Apple, really not interested in Apple today because there isn't anything really to do. You've got earnings on Thursday. So do you really want to put on a position ahead of earnings? And my answer would be no. Amazon, also earnings this week. So again, that would be another no. Now, fortunately, neither one of them are in a position that we'd want to trade anyways. Okay. But they do both have earnings coming out. Coin, certainly a little bit overbought up here. I certainly would look at it, and I think we will take a look at it. Let's just go back here for a minute so I don't miss a potential trade here. And let's see here. Coin. COIN. And what do we got here? 207.50, 210 for Friday. I'll sell that for $1. I think I'll whack at it. It's worth the risk. Okay, so the 207.50, 210, we got $1. Okay, and let's go back and see what else is happening. Nothing here yet, but maybe we're going to get something here in the euro currency, so we'll stick here for a minute. We do have a coin we put on. No other trades yet, but we haven't got that far. So we'll see what it looks like. Would have been nice to sell the NASDAQ up here, but of course we didn't. So that's the story. Okay, so the euro currency is going to be a sale, and we still got plenty of time. So, but we can start to look early to see because we know it's going to qualify. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Right now, if we get a trade here, our stop would be 114.46. If we get a trade, we don't have a trade yet, but 114.46. 114.47, and we're still waiting for a red bar to appear so that we can go ahead and have confirmation that it should be turning over. Right now, we're just sitting here waiting for it. And the stop I said was 114.47, and it looks like we may get a trade here. Let's just make sure we're not missing anything else while I'm looking at this. No, but you can see there is the blow-offish type of volume, and we're going to get this trade in about, if it stays down here, in about 30 seconds or so. And let's see what happens here. And you can take the trade if you want to. 47 is the stop. Okay. And obviously not much else going on here. So we'll flip back over here. We know we have an open trade. We know we've got orders working below. We put on crowd. Okay. Coin filled. Crowd strike. It could be. Again, this is something to take a look at, and let's see what it looks like here. Certainly going to be a seller, if anything. And let's see here. What is the 432.50, 435 for $1.12? Yeah, I can take that. Okay, that's in and working. And let's go back and see what's going on with our open trade. Our open trade is about where we sold it. No big deal. Nothing else is appearing at the moment. So we'll continue to go back and check these out. Meta, no interest, earnings tomorrow. No trade anyways. Google, not much to do. We missed it. We didn't miss it. We weren't here. So it would have been a trade on Friday as a short. IWM, no real trade to make. Microsoft has earnings on Thursday. We're not going to get involved there. MSTR, once again, overbought. Certainly worth taking a look at. MSTR. And, they got earnings. Missed it. No trade there. Nugget, we nailed last week. Nothing to do right now. Reverted all the way back to the mean. NVIDIA, no trade to make. The Qs, no trade to make. A little bit more room. Now, overall, net, I am looking for a bigger sell-off because I think that we have 2 to 3% more to the upside, if that much, before we would see some potential selling. Again, you can see the lack of activity in these markets, which is very painful and very challenging. So we have to, again, we have to sit back and wait and watch. And of course, our euro currency is a little bit against us, nothing dramatic. But of course, the markets are so god dang slow, and they're really very much what we would call illiquid right here. Okay. It's hard to want to get too excited when you're dealing with the Roach Motel and a lack of liquidity. All right. We'll go back here. SMCI, again, continues to struggle in this tight little range. Not really worth much. Square is one, or XYZ. Square, block, whatever you want to call it these days. That's what it is. Let's see what that looks like. XYZ. And, they got earnings tomorrow too. See, I missed some of these earnings, so that's a no non-starter. SPY is a non-starter. Tesla, potential sale. If you want to look at it, I think we missed it though, so I'm going to pass. Win, nothing. So basically, nothing from nothing. Okay, we had 2 trades we put on, Crowd and Coin. We're still short the euro currency, which is right back to where we sold it. Maybe we'll get something that it's not going to be enough. Crude is looking potential, but not enough. Gold, not enough. Again, this is a big problem. A lack of volume is a big problem in general for us to look at. And again, I think it's important that you understand that right now you're dealing with illiquid conditions. Low volume, high volatility equals illiquidity. Equals you shouldn't be trading too actively unless you get exactly what you're looking for. And right now, the only thing we have is the euro currency, which is now back to about break even. But again, there's not a hell of a lot to do here. I wish there was. Again, I wish we could have plenty to trade, but unfortunately, we don't have much to trade. And it's been this way for, I don't know, a couple of months where we haven't had any real action. We always have action on the spreading side, on the option side, a little bit longer term stuff. And if we ever get any real business back, we'll even find some more. You now have a profit. You now have a profit in your euro currency. Okay. And at the end of the day, you can take part of the profit. You can put a stop in and lock in a profit. Okay. Which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and lock in a small profit, and hopefully it'll continue to run. But because of the lack of liquidity, because of the lack of action in this market, it makes it much more challenging. Okay. So, I am now out with a small profit on the euro currency. Hold on a second. But again, now maybe crude will give us something here. The euro currency you could still be in. It just depends on where your entry was. And again, I don't care. I hope you are in. Again, I always usually get the worst fill because I call the trade first before I do it myself. Give everybody a chance to get in. That's always something that, to me is more important. For you to make sure I don't want to front run anybody. And again, it's not that big a deal because if it works, it's going to work great. And, I don't need to worry about grabbing ticks from individuals. So I always call it first before I put it on. Crude, maybe. I mean, it's going to be close. And I'm going to say right now, it's not going to be great. If we do a crude trade, it's not going to be a great trade. If you pass, I have zero problem with you passing if you're a regular and you understand what we're doing. It's a trade that I'll probably make myself, but I will call it before I do it. Okay. It's going to be close. And certainly there are some characteristics, but I am very concerned about the lack of volatility and the lack of action in the overall market. So it makes it much more challenging for me to want to get involved in it. But it does qualify. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at it now. Right now, your stop would be 61.57 would be your stop if you make the trade. 61.57. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put my stop in ahead of time. Okay, I haven't done anything else with the rest of it, but I'm going to put my stop in ahead of time. It does look like we're going to get, and again, this is a higher risk trade than I would normally take because it doesn't qualify as well. There's not enough speed or action in the market. We do not have a trade yet either. There is no trade yet. Okay, you have to wait for another minute. Again, the bar has to close, and in this case, it has to close red because we're going to sell it. Okay, so. Okay, so once again, it's still going up. So we have a new stop to set. The new stop, we don't have an entry yet. The new stop will be 65. So let me just adjust mine while I'm sitting here doing nothing with you. The new stop will be 65. Okay, and again, we have no trade yet, but you are getting a little bit more action. Okay, still not what we'd like to see, but a little bit better. And we're still waiting for the entry. And if you guys are wondering, I always look around the side. The camera's right in front of my screen, so I have to kind of sneak side looks occasionally here and there. And so now it looks like we may get this trade. Okay, it'll be closed. It's still not there yet. Still got to wait it out. And again, it's still not the greatest. It does have a lot of good qualifications now, but one of the things we're still lacking is the overall speed and the lack of liquidity. So, and there is no trade yet. So all we've done so far today is we trade the euro currency for a small profit. You may or may not still be in. We put on crowd and we put on coin. Okay, and now we do have a trade in the crude. So you can put that on if you want. That's obviously they're always up to you, but this is not one I wouldn't highly recommend. It's just a trade. Okay, and we'll see what happens here. Overall, markets have turned over again a little bit. Again, you're basically churning in between the Bollinger Bands in a narrow range. And we'll see what happens here. You're getting close to getting one off. You should have an order working 10 ticks below to take one off. I just put my overall stop locking in a couple of ticks just because we're not going to be together shortly here. And I don't want to get stuck. So make sure you lock up no worse than break even plus the cost of your trade. You should make, if you're trading the micros, I'm trading 6 micros. So it's going to be about $15 by the time it's all said and done or more. But at worst, it's going to be $15. All right. And again, we're not getting much activity here. Basically, everything we've done has moved virtually nowhere. Okay. So again, keep your stop in, keep your orders in working below. And if you get filled, if you get stopped, make sure you pull the orders. And I will see you guys here back here next time. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. We'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.